damage on them, and that's the great thing about Ling and Roach. And I will say DurtyOstrich is doing a good job at still remaining to keep up a pretty good unit composition, not really composition, but keeping up a good unit count. That's what I meant to say, a good unit count, even though he is taking maximum damage right now, and he's still not being able to get a successful natural expansion up.
There is an absolutely huge disparity between worker counts at this point. There's almost no way that DurtyOstrich can turn this around unless he has a miracle micro attack here and does something absolutely special. Because really, at this point, it is now 60 to 25, and the money coming in right now, if we look at it, is almost triple.
Yeah.
There's no way that you're going to be able to turn that around in any good sense, especially if he continues to get the pressure put on him by PointY. And good on PointY for continuing to do that. You know, he is saturating before he moves on, and he's really doing a fantastic job at keeping this Zerg to a single base. And he could technically win this game just by keeping the Zerg huddled up in his base and continuing to expand himself.
Oh, he will win the game that way, and Adam just said it very correctly. He's doing a fantastic job at saturating his expansions before he goes and does another expand. I know that a lot of you lower-level players like to go out there and watch the pros play, and, you know, you always hear the procasters say, look, expansions are everything. Well, expansions aren't everything if your original expansions are not saturated. What is the point of getting another expansion when you can't even hold your own on the ones that you have?
Unless you're Zerg.
Well, exactly. But I mean, even still, and here we go. Yeah. We got a big attack here, and that is a lot of Stalker.
That is a lot of Stalker.
That's a lot of Roach, but now the Stalker has Blink. Oh, no. There we go. Now the Stalker has Blink. And it's going to be a Stalker versus Roach match. Roaches are very strong against Stalker, so it could be closer than I initially thought it would be. And does a good job at blinking backwards there.
Are we looking at any upgrades from either guys at this point in the match?
We do. We have
one Carapace. And what do we got for nothing for the Protoss player?
So now forced to bring off the drones on the off the mineral line and attack the Stalkers, which actually may save him for another small short period of time. But it's only going to take another. And now Hydralisk coming out. So he's really going to survive this attack. You know what, man? This guy is playing seriously good for a 1-base Zerg against a 3-base Protoss.
Yeah, especially at this point in the mid-game, there's almost no reason why DurtyOstrich should still be alive at this point. He's just basically been living off the fact that he's got a really tight choke at his main base and taking advantage of that high ground on numerous occasions. But you know what? I think if this was another game, or if DurtyOstrich had you know played had PointY before, he might have actually done a little bit better. Because I think DurtyOstrich is a very good player, and he does do things very well, and he does have good micro ability, and he does have reasonable macro ability for that matter, even though he's stuck at one base. And here he is
going to attack.
He's going to attack, and you know what? You could say this is a bad decision. It is a bad decision to just run, but you know you could say this is a bad decision. But at this point, he has nothing else he can do. Well, he's sitting in his base. It's 18 minutes into the match, and guarantee he might have $1,000 left in minerals in his line. He doesn't have his expansion left, and the Stalker count is just absolutely skyrocketing at the other end. This is just kind of a last hope, and he's going to try to expand, but that's not going to do a whole lot.
No, he's getting his expansion off his natural. I think he's just feeling really bullied right now. A couple more expansions going up here for PointY. Really big oversaturated there, and I assume that some of them are going to go over. He got 70. He got 70 probes, and you know what? I'm not hating on it at all. He's got all of these nexuses. That's what you need, and things like this is going to win you the game. Like later on in the game, like if you needed more units, he could just send 30 of those to their death. But he's doing a good job at continuously expanding and I've talked about this before, is not getting complacent in a game and not thinking that you've won it, even though you've kind of know you've won it.
Oh,
that is a painful blink. The guy knows he won the game, but he's still being relentless. And we are in a tournament. This is game 1 of this, because they are on Metalopolis and that is the starting map. But basically, he's really just crippling DurtyOstrich's mentality right now. He's going to say, look, we're going to go into game 2, and I want to punish you. I want you to be scared of me, and I want to really put it in you. And I think he's doing a really good job at that. He could have slacked off.
He wants to really put it in him?
He really wants to put it in him.
All right. I just want to make sure
Or put it on him.
All right. Okay.
Or that doesn't even sound good.
No.
He really wants to just give it to him.
All right. You want to keep going? Because these are all innuendo.
He wants to destroy him.
All right. That's the least most offensive.
And DurtyOstrich throws up a GG, and PointY throws up a GG, and that was a very, very good game. it was kind of one-sided, but I thought personally that...
I don't think it was one-sided. I think it was just an early-on mistake that DurtyOstrich made, and it cost him the game early on. I think they both play equally well in terms of micro-ability and their knowledge of unit composition. But I think, to be honest, I think if... DurtyOstrich had made one or two more key, better decisions early on in the match about that first expansion that he put out there. He probably could have been equally in the running for winning this game.
You know what, Adam? I like to disagree with you, but this time I got to agree with you. I think you're right.
I appreciate that.
So I'm going to spoil it for you because I'm not going to be casting the other games. I'm just trying to find it here on the paper. DurtyOstrich.
You look for that while I explain something else.
Sure.
Busy. So we were talking about how PointY. Did you find it?
DurtyOstrich versus PointY.
PointY. Oh, okay, so PointY did move on there eventually.
So PointY won the last the next two games.
Won the next game. It was best 2 or 3.
Yeah, but he would have had to win the next game and the game after that.
Oh yes, no.
No, wait.
No, he just won the next game.
Oh, okay, it was 2-0.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Never mind, guys.
Yeah. So as we were pointing out, if you look real quick, we see that 76 probe count. Now, like Jeff was saying, he's not going to hate on it because, well, you just keep expanding, you keep building probes, keep saturating. The important thing here is, and like Jeff said, you could just send like 30 of those to their death if they needed more units. Yeah. The important thing is here, and this is something you want to keep in mind, especially as a Protoss player with all your warp gates. If you have, let's say you stop at your probe count at 80. All right, that leaves you with 120 food for an army. If you have 80 probes, you can essentially sustain a 120 food army infinitely for the rest of effing time. I accidentally did that. We're just gonna bleep that out. We've been allowed to swear all day, and so now that's gonna happen. But that's okay. We'll just bleep that out. Right. So so you can sustain 120 food basically infinitely because you have the economy constantly going with 80 probes. If you had 60 probes, you would not be able to sustain a 140 food army for the entire game, or something close to that. I'm sure somebody's going to be like, of course you can. I'm making a point, right? So if you had 80 probes...
Of course you can.
If you had 80 probes, you can sustain 120 food consistently. So, some people stop at like 40 probes and then just try and get like 112 food or 120 food army, and then they have to wait for money to come back in. If you have an 80 probe backup line there, you can constantly have 120 food consistently all the time, and that will win you the game more so than having a one-shot deal at 200.
Well, do I think that 76 probes is a little overkill? Maybe, but not so much because how much expansions he has. Say if, this expansion did run out of minerals, and say if this one did, and he only was off 3, he doesn't need 76 probes for 3.
Well, no, he doesn't need it. I think he's
we're not hating on it. You know what? I'm not going to talk about it anymore.
He's following the philosophy of never stop building probes. He stopped expanding for a short period of time, and so he didn't get a chance to move his probes.
Yeah, well, he did a great job. They both played actually a very well game. I'm not hating on either of them here.
Very good job.
They both showed pretty damn good skills. I mean, DurtyOstrich for a one-base Zerg did a pretty damn good job.
Held his
own for a very long time. Yep. So I guess I'm not going to say a whole lot about that. I'm going to put this game up as soon as possible, and we will be casting all of the semifinals and the finals. It's going to be really good. I can tell you right now that the finals is one hell of a finals. A lot of great games in there.
Yeah, for sure. So for now, ladies and gentlemen, if you are not already a member of our community, go hit us up on www.d2dgamer.com. Go to the forums, find yourself a practice partner, have some fun, get in with the community. They are all great people. We spend time with them every day. We have Vent. We have all sorts of great stuff going on. So keep checking us out. Keep coming back. We will have the rest of the tournament stuff up as soon as we possibly can, guys, when our lives allow for it this week, which should be very shortly. Cross your fingers. But for now, this has been Nova War.
And I am Maximus Black.
Peace out.
Peace out, guys.